Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of my series, Roasting Redditors, because we're not just reading Reddit. We are taking Reddit to task. And I would love to see this become maybe something of a Judge Judy for Redditors or something of the like. Because for too long, they have been getting away with their bullshit and no one has been telling them how the world really works. And that stops today. Enough is enough! So let's get started. Today we're going to be reading from our pirate, relationship advice. My 31F partner, 32M, threatened to break up over Costco run. My partner, 32M, and I have been together for almost 3 years. And have been living together for a year. So I switched medications recently, and my body is having bad side effects, and I'm also super moody because of it. Great. I've explained this to my partner repeatedly, but I feel like he would have reacted this way one way or the other. Just wanted to add that to provide some context to my moodiness. You mean try to excuse your behavior and allow you to get away with whatever bullshit you want to do, right? Is that right? We went to Costco. I was already not feeling well, dizzy, and lightheaded. Why didn't you stay home? And he was making snide remarks about a woman and her daughter who were picking up things. And an older man got angry and impatient and basically tried to push them out of his way. And my boyfriend was agreeing with the man and said they had no social awareness. And I said, it was the man being an asshole. They were just picking out food normally. He got huffy about this. I would get huffy about that too, because I am sick of people. It is an epidemic problem. And everybody tells me that I'm impatient and I go too quickly, but that is not the case. It is that everyone else is going too slowly. Everyone goes too slowly. They lollygag all around, driving all around, going 2 miles an hour. They walk through the grocery store like they have all the time in the world because they don't have anything else important to do with their lives. So they're trying to stretch their grocery trip out as long as possible so that they don't have to go back home to reality and they can pretend to have a task in their meaningless lives. Meanwhile, some of us actually have places to do and shit to be. So I'm on the boyfriend side already. People do go too slowly in the store and they need to hurry up. I don't think that we should be forced to go the speed of the slowest person. If I'm stuck behind somebody, this is something that drives me nuts about driving too. I will be going behind someone who is going so slow, so unreasonably slow. And I will be riding their ass, yes, because I don't think there's anything wrong with that if they're going slow. Riding their ass, trying to signal to them, hey, you're being a jerk. You're going too slow. Why don't you move over and let me go in front of you? Solve both of our problems, right? You'll be rid of me. I'll be rid of you. We can never think about each other again. They get all pissy with me. They start going slow on purpose. They start looking back at me, flipping me off, and then taking it all personal. And then they have ruined both of our 10 minutes. Why should I be forced to obey you because you want to go slower than me? He got huffy about this. Then we get to check out and finish. I go to put the receipts in our boxes, but then was like, oh yeah, I need it to show the people at the door. And he got huffy again, and he was like, yeah, obviously, why would you even try to do that? And I said, I forgot. And then I asked why he was being so rude, and he said, I make him rude. So I just stopped responding. Why did you decide to go to Costco together? I don't understand. If you recognize that you were in a bad mood, you know what I would have said if I was the boyfriend? Why don't you stay home? Why don't you relax? Because this is only I would have had the foresight to know this is a bad situation. And it is going to lead to stupid arguments about things that don't matter. Like this. A series of snipping at each other because we both hate each other. And we're trying to release that pressure in socially acceptable ways. Then we got to my car, and he's trying to stack things in my hatchback trunk. And I tried to tell him twice that the way he's trying to put things in, the trunk either won't close or squish everything. Then he starts yelling at me and said he's just about done and that he's ready to just move out. And I stopped and said, "You want to move out?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm just about ready to. I'm tired of this bullshit." And I just stared at him. He goes to put the cart away. I get in the car and start crying. Oh, Jesus. Put on music while I wait. He gets in and doesn't say a word to me. We drove home in silence with me crying. Got home and put the groceries away in silence and me still crying. This is why I don't understand why people want to be in relationships. Because this is all it leads to. This is what it leads to every single time. Every relationship will eventually become this. Everyone. This is where it always ends up. Two people who resent each other bitterly. And now I'm sitting in our spare room by myself. Oh, wow, somebody can afford a spare room. Isn't that nice? This is the first time he's ever threatened to break up. It won't be the last. But he does have a short fuse and will often overreact in anger over little things. What am I supposed to do in this situation? TLDR moody because of new meds. Boyfriend overreacts about everything. Yelled in Costco. Threatened to break up. Sounds like you should break up. You know? I mean, this is the thing with all these relationship advice posts. The answer is either break up or don't break up. And most of the time, the person knows what the answer is. They just don't want to accept it. I mean, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but every time that's the case. Every time. So, I can't figure out based on this, if this is the madness that your relationship descends into when you try to go to the grocery store, it's over. Over. Because I can't imagine what would possibly occur if you actually encountered a situation that was a real conflict. If you actually encountered a situation in life that tested both of you emotionally. Instead of going to buy stuff at the grocery store and loading it in a trunk. How do I, 28F, deal with fiance, 29M, not wanting to use the dishwasher? Why is it always, when it's the dumbest stuff, fiance? How did these people get this far? Actually, I know how they got that far. Because they are the ones who are mindless, going along with what society tells them to do, shacking up, and asking to marry the very first person who they can stand to be with for longer than 5 minutes because they can't think for themselves. That's why they need to post on Reddit for a problem like this. A domestic problem. How do I deal with 28F? How do I, 28F, deal with fiance 29M? Why do they need to put the names like and the ages and the genders? My fiance 29M and I, 28F, got a new place with a dishwasher. Since then, it's been running maybe once every 2 to 3 days. Sounds like when you would run the dishwasher. My finances did not grow up with one. I did. And picking this place was a huge reason why I wanted it so badly. This dishwasher over here. It's been a topic of contention recently. He seriously thinks it wastes water and electricity compared to hand washing. He gets frustrated when we run out of the smaller plates because he prefers the dishwasher wasn't full yet or it was still washing. He never loads the dishwasher or takes it out as a form of protest. I've tried showing him articles of how much water it saves. He says it uses too much electricity instead. I tell him how much it saves, he just kind of brushes that off. I don't get it. I seriously don't. He sometimes will really passive-aggressively wash his own plates and utensils after a meal and leaves mine for the dishwasher, and I'm honestly not sure why he's doing that. Please help. Edit. Didn't make it clear, but basically I do the cooking and throw everything into it after I'm done, like the pots, pans, and stuff, because it's easy and fast. He gets passive-aggressive about it because it wastes water and electricity. Then sometimes angrily washes his own dishes after. I'm honestly not sure how to get him to not be so huffy about it. Is this seriously the type of life that the average American leads? Is this really what happens? When I drive past suburbia and I see all these hundreds of houses over and over and over again, is this what's going on inside of them? God. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm at a loss. One thing I will say about dishwashers, I think that you are a little too overboard on dishwashers. I think that it kind of sounds like you're trying to fuck the dishwasher. And he is a little overboard in the other direction. So the thing about dishwashers is that they really don't work very well, because you end up kind of having to basically wash the dishes before you put them in anyway. It's like you got to get all the food off of it. You know, you got to get basically every single thing you can see with your eyeballs. And at that point, you might as well just scrub it with a sponge and finish washing the dish once you have it in the sink, you know? So I don't really understand the point of dishwashers either. I mean, I guess it's nice to have if you go through a lot of dishes, but I just no, you know what, Eddie, cut that out because they don't deserve any advice at all. Fuck them. Okay. Boyfriend 25M, who I, 23F, just moved in with, called me another woman's name. Details keep getting weirder. My girlfriend is uncomfortable. Shit. Okay, all right, hang on, Eddie. Okay. Boyfriend 25M, who I, 23F, just moved in with, called me another woman's name. Details keep getting weirder. My boyfriend and I just moved to DC after being long distance for a year, Boston and Los Angeles. I went back home for a year post-grad because my mom had cancer while he stayed in Boston for his career. We both recently got jobs in DC and finally moved in together about 3 weeks ago. A few days after moving in, we went to pick up a desk from Facebook Marketplace. While we were loading it into the car, he said, "Open the door for me, Olivia." My name is not Olivia. It's not even remotely close to saying my name. I was caught off guard, but the seller was standing right there and we needed to finish the transaction, so I didn't say anything immediately. On the drive home, I asked, "Who's Olivia?" He immediately got defensive and said, "I don't know any Olivias. I'm exhausted from the move, it's hot out, and I was carrying a heavy piece of furniture." That explanation didn't really make sense to me. I looked through his Instagram following and pointed out that he follows a bunch of women named Olivia. He said they were just people he knew from college. It seemed odd, but we had just completed a stressful cross-country move, so I let it go. That night, though, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Then I remembered something from a few months earlier. I had borrowed his phone for something and noticed that he had been looking at a random girl's Visco profile. Was this 10 years ago? Visco. I didn't know people still even used it. It struck me as strange at the time, but I didn't make a big deal of it. What were you using his phone for exactly? Then I remembered that girl's name was Olivia. I asked him if he recognized the name Olivia last name. He said no and claimed he'd never heard that name before. That seems strange, because when I looked her up, I discovered that they work at the same relatively small company, around 100 employees. Based on social media photos, they had even attended the same company Christmas party. I asked if I could look through his phone. He reluctantly agreed. Wow, sounds like you guys really have a great relationship. In his email, I found well over 100 emails from her. They appeared to be work-related, but I still found it hard to believe that someone could receive that many emails from a person and then genuinely claim to have no idea who they are. You want to know why he pretended not to know who they are? Because you're going fucking crazy! You just admitted to looking through his phone 3 different times and finding nothing and still looking through it again. So that's why he lied to you, because you're going to go insane. I would too. Jesus. At that point, I was feeling anxious and admittedly not thinking very clearly. Well, at least you're self-aware of it. I requested to follow her on Instagram. Really, really mentally stable thing to do. 2 weeks later, tonight, she accepted my follow request. About 30 seconds later, she blocked me. When I brought that up to my boyfriend, he became extremely defensive again. He says I'm creating stories in my head, connecting unrelated things, and looking for problems that don't exist. I genuinely don't know what to think. Am I reading too much into a weird coincidence, or do these things together seem suspicious? Is it possible he's cheating, or am I letting my anxiety get the best of me? This is why, when you're talking to someone, especially someone that you're together with, just avoid calling them a name as often as possible. Because the risk is too great. You know, the human brain works in very mysterious ways. Sometimes you call somebody the wrong name for no reason at all, you know? And in a situation where calling someone the wrong name will immediately become a catastrophic extinction level event for your relationship, when you're in a relationship with someone who's clearly extremely insecure, clearly extremely distrustful, and will completely self-destruct if you accidentally call them the wrong name one time, just avoid calling them a name entirely. Just say, open the door for me. Stop right there. Train yourself out of the habit of saying people's names. It's not worth the risk. Part of the problem, too, is that you guys live in D.C. And I'm not going to elaborate on that. How do I, M23, tell my wife, F25, that I don't want to see her every single day? I want a divorce. Please tell me if I'm, 31F, am being unreasonable before I end a perfectly good 2-year relationship with my BF, 26M. Am I shallow, or have these icks reached a point of no return? I need some outside opinions because I genuinely can't tell if I'm being unreasonable, or if my attraction has been slowly murdered by 1,000 tiny icks. I know nobody's perfect. I have my own annoying habits and quirks. But over time, I've accumulated a number of things my boyfriend does that have given me such severe secondhand embarrassment that I can practically feel my ovaries packing their bags. Some examples. He can't swim. Not a strong swimmer. He literally cannot swim. I don't think it would have turned into an ick so much if every beach trip or spa visit. Wow, a lot of spa visits, huh? He didn't make it his mission to attempt swimming. Completely optional in these settings, by the way. Which results in him just flailing around like a drowning seal, making a lot of noise and drawing attention to himself. On our last spa visit, another man came over and tried to advise him on how to swim. He did it in a very friendly, no-judgment way. And my boyfriend's night was totally ruined by how he felt this guy was trying to show him up in front of me. Monkey covering eyes emoji. No, sweetie, you managed to accomplish that all by yourself. Oh, man, this is a riot. I've gently tried to teach him and suggested that he take swimming lessons if he wants to attempt swimming on our outings, to which he dismissed as unnecessary. He regularly talks in a baby voice and speaks complete gibberish. Sometimes this happens over the phone or in the middle of a serious conversation. I carry on speaking to him in a normal voice. I just want you guys to know real quick. There is not only an entire another page to this entry, there's another paragraph on top of the next page. Just want you guys to be aware of that. I carry on speaking to him in a normal voice, and he carries on with baby talk, making me feel incredibly awkward and not knowing how I can get him to stop. When walking out and about in public, he'll suddenly become aggressively goofy. Things like pulling me back and forth while loudly asking, "Can I throw you over here?" He sounds funny. This will happen multiple times whilst we are out, and I feel incredibly embarrassed when it happens. He regularly turns his back on me in bed and asks me to spoon him. Sometimes he'll randomly message me and ask me if I can send him 20 quid to treat himself to lunch. That explains everything. This will probably happen every few weeks. He says he wants princess treatment sometimes. Princess emoji. One day I drove my mom's car, a big ass, long wheelbase truck. Well, we don't need to hear about your mom's ass, but thank you anyway. I'm sorry. I know it wasn't a funny joke. I apologize. Please don't arrest me. Just joking around. Oh, man. A big ass, long wheel base truck, and was having some trouble parking it in a shopping centre, spelled Centre, car park. He confidently told me to get out and let him park it, to which he proceeded to make an even bigger meal of getting the job done, taking a further 10 minutes to park. You're both idiots. You can't park a fucking car. Where eventually he was successful only because a car in the opposite space had left, making it easy. Well, you weren't doing a very good job yourself, were you, sweetie? One time on a trip, we came across an empty children's playground area. For fun, I had a quick swing on the swing. My boyfriend then went to do the same. I very quickly realized that he, in fact, did not know how to even use a swing. His parents had never taken him to a play area to use one when he was younger, which is kind of sad. That explains why then he sought out a extremely judgmental partner who treats him like shit. That explains it. But the image I have in my head of him flinging his body back and forth, trying desperately to gain some sort of momentum on the swing, but going absolutely nowhere, is an image I wish I could erase from my mind. He says things like, "Give daddy a kiss to me in public," in a baby voice. Vomiting emoji. Let's just finish. When spending time together alone, if he doesn't have anything to talk about, as one example, he'll randomly ask me to make the noises of different animals. "Can you make the sound of blank?" he'll ask. For a while, I tried humoring him in these requests and would go along with it. However, this only made things worse, as he would then progressively make further weird requests. So it got to the point where I just started saying, "No, I don't want to. Stop being weird." Which, by the way, did not discourage him from doing such things as time went on. Sometimes I felt less like a girlfriend and more like I was being entertained during nursery circle time. He tries very hard to be funny, but unfortunately his sense of humor and mine seem to exist in completely different dimensions. The problem is that there's another page. This is all the same one. No. He is incredibly immature in some ways. Eddie, why would you pick this one out? He loves to torture me too. He is incredibly immature in some ways, but where it matters, he has shown a level of emotional maturity beyond anyone I've ever previously dated. He supported me through a tough few months of recovering following knee surgery. came to my home every day for 2 months, cooked me meals, helped with cleaning, supported me through physical therapy, and was a constant emotional support. This is now getting sad for how much you do not deserve him. It's making me sad. He is loyal, completely devoted to me, and would do anything for me. I know he would defend me and have my back in any situation. I know he would never talk poorly of me when I'm not in the room. I never have to worry about where he is going / what's on his phone because he is completely transparent with me. He has done some very sweet things, not just for me, but for my parents too. He will randomly give me thoughtful presents. He'll put a full tank of fuel in my car when he sees it's on empty. He'll surprise me and make plans for us to go to new places. If he senses I'm feeling low and have a bad day, he will order me food from my favorite place. In regards to intimacy, he is the first and only guy who has tried to understand me and had been successful in working out what brings me pleasure. He is always sure to make me orgasm before he does. He regularly writes me letters which expresses his love and all of his sweet feelings for me. Not a day goes by where he doesn't tell me he loves me. He gives his absolute best to the relationship in many ways, so yes, he does have a number of desirable qualities, which is how I guess I've managed to brush these icks under the carpet until now. But collectively, the icks are becoming so powerful that I feel they're forming into a megazord. I'm increasingly irritated in his presence, which I feel terrible for, as he has done so much good in my life and he means no harm. Sometimes I don't understand if it's just me being too rich and I need to lighten up and embrace being more plainful. Has anyone else ended a perfectly decent relationship because the attraction just died from accumulated cringe? Or am I being ridiculously harsh and should try to override these feelings of cringe I feel on a daily basis and see it for his good points? That's a great fake story. God damn it. Oh. All right, Eddie, my patience with this is wearing thin. Finding out after 10 years together that I, 30M, do not do well with co-sleeping after my wife, 29F, moved away for work. So my wife and I have been together for 10 years, sleeping in the same bed for 9. The longest we've ever been apart was about 10 days while she was on a family vacation, with a regular 3 to 7 day stints apart throughout the years. Recently, my wife received a promotion at work in a city about 4 hours away, and I cannot relocate due to my work. Recently, I herniated a disc, and the recovery has been so-so. But when my wife moved away, I noticed I started getting better and having days with little or no pain. She came back for a weekend, and the first night we slept together, I woke up in total agony. Once she left again, I slept great, and am slowly healing again. Additionally, I've always thought I was a poor sleeper in general, often going to bed at 10 p.m. and waking up at noon, sometimes later. Since my wife has been away, it doesn't matter if I go to bed at 10 p.m. or 2 a.m. I consistently wake up feeling rested and ready at 7 a.m. It is very clear to me now that sleeping together is not good for me. Is there anything that I can do? Yeah, don't sleep together. Next. I, F20, dislike my boyfriend's M22 best friend, MTF31, and no longer want her around us as a couple. Advice? Me and my BF have been together for almost 3 years, but I'm having a hard time navigating this. I've known his best friend for 2 years now. We've all hung out several times and became pretty compatible as a group until things started going south. I'll give a couple examples so I don't ramble. It's a little too late for that. 1. Me and my BF talked about going to see 2 different movies together. One of those movies we had just recently binged the entire series, so I knew for sure we'd see it. Closer to when they were coming out, he asked if I wanted to go with him, and we'll call her Jill, to see both movies. At the time, me and him were going with his friends constantly, and I just wanted to see at least one of them with him alone, and I told him this. She took it personal and said we could have all went together instead of making him pick between us. Mind you, it was 2 different movies, so I didn't understand this, and it wasn't about her specifically. This was last year. 2, a few months ago, he gets a text from Jill saying that she doesn't think she likes me and that you don't like her. Clearly. And other issues she had with their friendship. It put my BF in a tough spot, and he didn't talk to her for about a week because he's not really confrontational and doesn't know how to handle the situation. I reached out to her and told her any issues she has can be communicated with me directly. Why? Almost forgot me and her had recently started texting, and I asked her how she'd been doing and why I was ignored for a week. Then she texted him that. After that happened, we all had a conversation. I don't care about this. I don't care about any of this. Jesus Christ, Eddie. I mean, you've got me doing this fucking horse shit. It's awful. This is awful. Now my pages are all messed up. Look how many pages of these Reddit stories I have. Look how many fucking pages I have. Look at all these pieces of paper. Because Eddie says, it's good content. Lots of people want to watch it. It's good content. And you need to make money. We just gotta do a couple more. We just gotta at least pad this out to 30. We gotta get this to 30 somehow. So my F35 BF M39 fell for a scam, and it's hard for me to not think he's stupid. My boyfriend fell for a phone scam where he gave the person on the other end a one-time verification code, OTP. Why did you feel the need to abbreviate OTP? This was written by AI. No human being writing this story would type out one-time verification code, parentheses, OTP. No one would ever do that. This is a fake story, and this was written by AI. Fuck you. Disgusting. Now my pages are all messed up and they're double-sided. I didn't number the pages, so I can't even... Alright, okay. Let me see if I can at least piece together one more story. How am I supposed to... Oh, okay. Alright, let's do this one. Oh, no, wait, I don't have... Okay, all right, Eddie. Here we go. This is the next one. My 24F boyfriend, 25M of 4 years, put my private venting about his toxic dad on loudspeaker. Now I'm banned from his house. How do I navigate this breach of trust? I really need some outside perspective because I feel completely gaslit and betrayed by my boyfriend of 4 years. To give context, his father has a history of passive-aggressive behavior under the guise of being straightforward. 3 separate events really crossed the line for me. The luggage trip. Oh, great. Now we got to hear the whole life story of this person and their entire relationship with their partner's father. The luggage trip. I brought rolling luggage on a family trip because it was less hassle for me to carry and I needed it for my work things. Okay, yeah, that's what a rolling suitcase is for. Thanks. Like, why do we need the context of why you bought a rolling suitcase? His dad mocked me because the rest of them only brought backpacks. He thought that I only brought a luggage because I was just going to make his son carry it for me, which wasn't true at all. The island trip. This was a completely separate second vacation. Congratulations on being able to take all these vacations. I proactively offered his family a hotel tour package so we could all be together, but they refused it. We stayed in different hotels because my boyfriend chose to stay with me instead of going with them on the hotel. But actually, we did a het together, like island trip. And I also offered his family to do a sunset cruise, but they don't like it. And his parents got really resentful at him during that trip. I did not absorb any of that information. The vacation with my mom. This was our 3rd trip. Jesus Christ, another vacation? Why don't you donate to a homeless shelter? And it was the first time my mother joined us. His dad waited until this specific trip to bring up that old island incident. Jeffrey Epstein. Eddie, cut that out. Right in front of my mother, he started talking about how they felt resentful about their son not joining them before. It was a calculated attempt to twist the situation, blame me, and humiliate me in front of my parent. Even my mom noticed how toxic his attitude was. Whenever I bring these things up to my boyfriend, he gets defensive and claims I am just complaining or being negative. I mean, you are complaining or being negative, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with complaining and being negative. But don't try to pretend that complaining and being negative isn't what it is. Complaining. That's what this all is. Typing out an entire paragraph, moaning and groaning about all of the personal problems you've had with your father-in-law over the past several years is complaining and whining. That's fine. But don't try to make it sound like it's nothing else. The breaking point happened recently. He called me to discuss the issues I have with his dad. During the call, he insulted me by saying I only act like this because I am afraid of his father. I got upset and told him I'm not afraid of anyone. Right after that, he hung up and called back, casually revealing that he had the entire phone call on loudspeaker in front of his whole family. That's funny. That's a good one. That is funny. Because they heard me defending myself and criticizing his dad's behavior, his family has now banned me from their house. After this whole incident happened, instead of apologizing for violating my privacy or realizing the mess he made, my boyfriend attacked me further. He called me selfish, said I am negative, and told me he is full of my endless complaints. To make matters worse, he then threw my personal background in my face. He told me that because I don't have a father, I don't understand how fathers are or how family works. He is actively weaponizing my childhood vulnerabilities just to cover up for his dad's toxic behavior and make me feel like I am the one who is broken. I feel completely thrown under the bus and deeply betrayed. He exposed my private thoughts, got me banned, and then used my personal life to kick me while I was already down. Well, what do you want me to say? What do you want us to say? You want us to say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Clearly, you think that you're right, and clearly you know that you're right, and clearly you're not willing to see the situation any other way. So, okay, but I mean, what do you want? What advice do you need? What advice do you need? Are you really seriously entertaining the notion that you could possibly be wrong? I'm not saying that you are wrong. I'm not saying that you're not wrong. But what is this? What is this, really? Eddie, enough. Enough is enough.